Hey everybody, I'm Miguel Maravilla here with middleweight Gabriel Rosado of Philadelphia. First of all, Gabriel, let's talk about your upcoming fight, man. Pretty big opportunity for you. What do
Yeah,
you got?
yeah, man. It's a great fight. It's a fight that it kind of played out, naturally. Where you know I was on the card with Munguia. We both got knockout wins. We called each other out in the ring right after the fight. So it was a fight that it got a lot of attention by the fans quickly. So the fans demanded it, and good thing we was able to deliver.
Let's you mentioned that you were on the same card as Munguia, your last fight. Let's talk about your last fight, man. It was a pretty exciting fight,
Yeah.
pretty thrilling knockout.
Yeah. No, for sure. It was a great fight. It was a young, hungry prospect, and it was a fight that I just, we prepared ourselves mentally and physically for, and we knew the kid was going to be tough. He was a body snatcher, man. He loved to attack the body. And he's a strong kid, very strong. But like I said, I prepared myself mentally and physically for the fight, man. I was able to kind of weather that storm of him, kind of throwing those bombs in that first round and just time him perfectly and knock him out.
How would you evaluate Munguia in his last performance? Did you actually get to watch that fight in the locker room or?
Yeah, I did. I saw the fight. I went to the locker room. I did see the fight live, and then I've seen it a couple times just to study. He did what he had to do. It's hard to call because the guy he fought, it was a last minute replacement, right? But I've seen him throughout the years, since Saddam Ali, so he has a very aggressive style, you know, big puncher. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the matchup.
Mentioned the Saddam Ali fight. Obviously, that was his first world title fight. That was his first
Yeah.
performance on national TV. What have you seen since? Is there improvement? Is there still flaws in Munguia?
Yeah, there's improvement. He has one of the greatest Mexican warriors as a trainer in his camp. Eric Morales. Eric Morales was one of the guys that I still look up to. One of my favorite fighters. You know, technical, has a lot of heart. Has a lot of pride. Everything you want in a fighter. So I'm sure he's getting some really great advice from Eric Morales. Um, I think the advantage I have is that one thing you can't teach is experience, and experience comes with time. He's a strong kid. He's solid, but I think I favor him when it comes to ring IQ. You know, and that'll make the difference in the fight.
You mentioned your experience. Now, going back to Eric Morales. Well, what would it be like? What you said you looked up to him. What kind of feeling will you have? The fight night, looking across the ring.
Yeah. Well, I've actually already beat one of Eric Morales' fighters. What was his name? Oh goodness. I fought him a few years back with Fernando Vargas when Fernando Vargas was my trainer. And tough Mexican kid. He was like 22-1 with 15 knockouts. Oh, it sucks that I can't remember his name right now, but
Yeah,
all I
I,
know is
I surprised I can't remember his name either.
yeah. It was supposed to be one of those fights where you call it like it's kind of like what Mikey Garcia went through.
Okay.
It's a tuna fight, and next the guy comes to the fight, and so I fought. I feel like I said I faced Eric Morales' fighters before. I won that fight, but it was definitely not an easy fight.
The Mexico-Puerto Rico rivalry. It's being talked about. You mentioned Munguia's style. He has Morales in his corner as his trainer. Both of them being from Tijuana. You yourself from Philly. Talk
Yeah.
talk about how the Puerto Rico Mexico rivalry plays in with a mix of Philly.
Yeah, it plays in because throughout the years you just have these great historical matchups. Um, Salvador Sanchez, Wilfredo Gomez, Tito Trinidad, Oscar de la Hoya, and the list goes on. So for me, it's one of those healthy rivalries where two countries, that are very passionate, very prideful, come together and they fight, but it's a mutual respect that I have. One of my favorite fighters coming up, a lot of them are Mexican fighters, and living in Los Angeles, I have a huge Mexican fan base. So I'm just happy to be a part of it. And I think it's a fight that'll go down in history.
You made your transition out here to the West Coast a few years back, right?
About 8 years.
About 8 years ago. You now hooked up, you're training at Wildcard. What's the experience been like? You're training with Freddie. How's that coming along?
Yeah, I've known Freddie since 2012 when I had a run on NBC Sports and Freddie was the commentator. And ever since I've always had a relationship with Freddie. And pretty much, I was at a point in my career where I had to give it like that last run. And I felt that in order for me to really give myself an opportunity to get back to that big stage, I'd have to link up with a trainer that knows what it takes to get there. And so Freddie was like the first one that I thought of. And, I went and I had a conversation with him and, he accepted the challenge. And, we're here getting ready to fight Munguia, at the Honda Center.
What has Freddie taught you? What have you learned from Freddie?
One thing with Freddie, it's just working on the game plan. I'm a fighter that, this is my 15 year as a pro. So it's not like Freddie had to teach me how to fight, right? I already, came in knowing that. It's more of just having a game plan. It's more of having a strategy and just the professionalism in the gym. It's just straight business. Straight boxing. So, having that structure when you come to the gym and it's all business and having a game plan, that definitely makes a big difference.
At last, what's this preparation been like? You've been having some solid sparring. I've been, been seeing on Twitter. And what can we expect from you come fight night? Yeah.
My sparring, I've been sparring with David Benavidez. We both fight on the same date. So, I have sparring with him later today at 2 p.m. at Wildcard. So, it's just great. It's the perfect sparring that I need. A young, hungry champion who's, bringing it every time we spar. And it's just making me elevate and step my game up.
Well, folks, there you have it. Gabriel Rosado taking on Jaime Munguia November 13th, live on DAZN. Don't miss it. This fight's definitely going to have a lot of action.
For sure.
Good luck to you, Gabriel.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Got it, man.